Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RoePink.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. Joining BJ Rains today is KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's Mike Prater. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Mike Prater and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Mike Prater is such a fan of himself, he's wearing his own shirt today. How about that?
I knew that was going to come up when I saw myself in the shirt. It has nothing to do with my initials and everything to do with a supplement company that I've never used in my entire life. It was the cleanest shirt I had. Leave me alone. Even JP's giving me crap already today.
Happy Wednesday, a rare Wednesday appearance for Mike Prater here on Bronco Nation News Live. 3 days away from Boise State's season opener at Washington. Mike, I got a new mic here. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm trying to look like you guys with the radio mic here. So hopefully it sounds sounds as good as it usually does. But we're trying to upgrade the after we have the little pennies we have left after paying Mike Prater, we're trying to upgrade the facilities here in the Bronco Nation News at Cutwater Spirits Studios out here in Meridian. But 3 days away from game day, we're switching it up. We got Mike Prater today because you've got some fun plans tomorrow, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the University of Utah, Florida game. I'm going to get in the car tomorrow morning, go down there and get set up for the show, do the show. Unfortunately, I just saw the interview list for Boise State tomorrow with a couple of big-time players. I'm going to miss that, but do the show from campus there in Utah and Salt Lake City, go to the game, and then driving home right after. It's going to be like an 18 to 22-hour day, and come back on Friday, do the show. Friday night, we're all going to be at Albertson Stadium covering a little high school football in Gatlinburg, and then all hell breaks loose on Saturday, BJ.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait and excited for the next 25 minutes or so here to talk with you about Saturday's game. And then we'll do it again tonight. You've graciously agreed, Mike, to join us for our BNN season preview show tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Sanford and Kent Riddle will kick it off with me at 7 o'clock tonight. This is exclusively for paying subscribers at BNN, so you'll get an email with a private link to watch the show tonight at 7 o'clock. And if you can't watch it live, the link will still work to watch it later tonight or later this week if you can't watch it. But we'll have Mike Sanford and Kent Riddle at 7. Mike Prater and Jay Tust will join us around 7:30, and then Johnny and Jordan will be around 8 o'clock. So we'll mix it up, smaller groups. We got some different discussions that I have planned for each group and different position groups and things like that. And so we'll get some season predictions and going to be a lot of fun. But we do have the Game Week promo code still going at the bottom of the screen. If you see it there, Game Week. You just go to the 1-year subscription, type in Game Week, you get $20 knocked off. It's $50 for a full year, and that gets you all the access to Mike Prater's columns and Jordan and myself's writing and exclusive shows like this season preview show tonight. So again, tonight, 7 p.m., to be almost a 2-hour show. Looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun, but you got to be a paying subscriber. So subscribe today and jump in, and we'd love to have you at Bronco Nation News at BroncoNationNews.com. You mentioned, Mike, the schedule for the interviews on Thursday. Yeah, they mixed it up a little bit last minute. Some stuff came up for the players, I guess. So we'll have some assistant coaches today. Looking forward to talking to both line coaches, Eric Chenander, Tim Keene. Both those, I think if you got to just, I guess you could say DeMario Warren too, who we're talking to. So, I mean, the three positions that could make or break Boise State having a chance to win this game, I think all their coaches are talking after practice today.
Yeah, we have the same. We must have the same thought process, because I thought the exact same thing. If I have 3 red flags or 3 questions about this football team, it's those 3 coaches and their position groups. Not necessarily the coaches per se, but their position groups and what they're going to bring to the table starting Saturday. So I know we're going to dive deeper into the offensive line here. Major concerns there. Defensive line, maybe not so much. And the cornerbacks, I can't wait to see how that plays out.
The picture of all of us there on the preview show, Rudy says he's never seen a better police lineup than the
Which one looks like the biggest criminal?
My wife was a little disappointed, though, because everybody except Kent Riddle is like, let me find the picture again here. Everyone is like, nice and looking at the camera there. And then you got Kent Riddle, who's I couldn't find a picture of him. So he's in a sweatshirt and he's coaching on the sidelines. I had to Photoshop out the BSU logo, though, on his hat. And if you look closely, I Photoshopped in a BNN logo on Kent Riddle's hat there, because we couldn't have the BSU logo there on the promo. But we had all these great photos, and leave it to Kent Riddle to not send me a photo and to have to use one from a game. But it works.
I can feel the energy. You put my picture right between Sanford and ball game, and I just feel the vibe on both sides. So every Monday night, I feel that little buzz in my ear from their show. Love their show, and I'm proud to be stuck right in between those 2 guys.
I think Johnny owes me, because I made him look a lot taller and bigger than he actually is. But had to make all the faces line up here. But I think Johnny was the beneficiary of that over anybody else. But excited for again tonight. That'll be 7:00, and we'd love to have you subscribe. Game week is the promo code, and we'll have you on there tonight. Going to be a lot of fun with the BNN team all getting together. And Mike, we appreciate you for agreeing to jump in on a busy time of year for you as well. Rudy does say ball game looks the most guilty of the group in the lineup there. But BSU Bill says maybe overly optimistic, but do you think the fact Avalos played against this offensive scheme in 2021 when Boise State won 40-14, is that an advantage for Boise State at all? Granted, UW is far better than 2021 Fresno, but there's a lot of carryover on the coaching staff. I mean, Fresno State could say the same thing. I guess not, especially with Bush Hamden, but they've played Boise State several times in the last couple of years. But I guess specifically Avalos and Spencer Danielson in 2021 playing Fresno. What do you make of it with now that a lot of that coaching staff is up there, obviously in Washington? What do you make of that connection?
Yeah, it's getting late in this pregame show, and we've been doing this for 6 months, so we're digging for every possible detail. But we all heard that sound clip from Ryan Grubb, the Washington offensive coordinator. I got no love for Boise. I got no love for Boise is exactly what he said. Well, he was at Fresno, played Boise State 5 times. Boise State won 3 of those 5 games, and most of those games, I think, certainly that 2021 game was against Andy Avalos and his crew, and Boise State won that game 40-14. In the 5 games that Ryan Grubb was at Fresno State, part of the offensive coaching staff against Boise State, he averaged 18 points. When those other games, he averaged 32 points a game. So Ryan Grubb has had a rough, frustrating series with Boise State, with Andy Avalos, with Spencer Danielson, and I can see why he got no love for Boise. I think that's going to be a fascinating element to watch, but we'll see how it all shakes out. There's no doubt about that, but I think that does. Andy Avalos has had success against Ryan Grubb's schemes. I think that does play a role in Saturday's game.
By the way, you mentioned John Mallory and Mike Sanford. We've got a group chat that goes, and I don't know what time, day or night, my phone goes off. It's the ball talk group message going, and I learn more about football now, and there's more back and forth banter between mostly those two. I'm just lucky they keep me included on the group chat. But that's been the best part for me of this show starting is getting Mike Sanford and Johnny Mallory about 200 texts a day talking football, and they don't realize, I guess, that we have a show today because the phone key. I just had to turn the phone off because it keeps vibrating from them talking about schemes and different nerdy football things going into Saturday. But I am excited for that. John Patrick says he does have the audio if we want to hear it. Ryan Grubb, that's nice enough of JP to allow us to do that. Sure, we will. We'll take a listen to that, JP, if you got it.
You guys have any good-natured kidding or anything because you have all these Boise State guys on your coaching staff?
No, I none at all because I got no love for Boise. I was at Fresno, so it's just normal operating procedure right now.
Yeah, I got no love for Boise. I love that.
Well, and I guess the question there was because there's, Juice Brown and Scott Huff and Lee Marks all on the coaching staff. They've even got a couple Tyson Maeva, a couple, former players that are down there as analysts or GAs. So they've got, I think, 5 connections in terms of the extended coaching staff to Boise State. We actually did all transparency effort. Scott Huff at BNN for an interview, and he respectfully declined. He just didn't want to get too much into the Boise State and time and his love and all that kind of stuff right before the game and, say the wrong thing. And so he was very nice and respectful about it. But Scott Huff did decline. It might have been a better interview, he said, over the summer. But, I get it. But certainly you have the connections there. And for a long time, Mike, there's been a lot of connections. Obviously, with going with the Coach Pete connection, the Jimmy Lake. I mean, Boise State, Washington coaching staffs have been intertwined for more than a decade here.
Yeah, it's crazy how the connections are. They really are strong and deep, and they're growing. I mean, I think there's 5 or 6 guys, if you include the GAs that you mentioned, Boise State guys. So it is deep. We've tried to reach out to Scott Huff too. What a classy dude, what a great dude, what a great coach. And that would have been cool if we had an interview, but I understand that these guys are all going to love up on each other on Saturday afternoon after this game. I get it. I don't know if it's going to be Ryan Grubb, though. He really, truly does have a beef against Boise. And I think and he's, look at his picture, too. He's mean. He looks like a scary dude. Ball game brought up yesterday that he's a pig farmer from Iowa. And he looks like a giant pig farmer from Iowa. Big, tough, mean dude. And when he says, I got no love for Boise, that 21 game, that game was in Fresno. Fresno was ranked nationally. They had 41,000 fans in the stands there. Boise State had no business winning that football game, and they crushed them 40-14. I promise you, Ryan Grubb has been thinking about that game for a long time, and he's got a big grudge against Boise State's defense going into Saturday's game. But, his Boise State's offense, and we're going to get into the X's and O's, and certainly Boise State's offensive line. I understand the X's and O's of that, but I think there's some mental advantages for Boise State in this game for sure.
The ICCU YouTube chat is a buzzing, Mike Prater. Folks are pumped to be 3 days away from game day. A lot of good discussion going on there. The love won't be growing any stronger after the Broncos win on Saturday. LSL says, just looking for a competitive game. Whatever happens at the end, so be it. Let's see. Skyship says, Bush Hamden Showtime loading 35-plus points, and they win. So Sky says if Boise State can get over 35, they win the game. Rudy says, I think it comes down to not stopping but slowing down their offense. Need some turnovers, some defensive stops, feel confident in the offense to put up some points. And Perry, sorry, but you're not getting added to the group chat with Sanford and Johnny there. Nice. I appreciate you for being a subscriber, Perry. I love seeing you at all the stuff, but you wouldn't get anything done, as I don't, because your phone would be going off the entire day. But I do, Mike, want to get into the offensive line, as you said. But I first want to thank a couple of our great sponsors here. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. You can check them out at theblueandorangestore.com. Obviously, second floor there at the Boise Town Square Mall. If you're going up to Seattle, you're supposed to wear orange on Saturday. So wear orange on Saturday if you're going to the game and you're a Boise State fan, and you can get your gear before you leave at theblueandorangestore.com. Our friends over at Lean Feast, check them out, leanfeast.com/Meridian. You can do it all online. You heard last night on the Tyson Degenhart show, Tyson and the coaches talking about the basketball team being fed by Lean Feast now. Check it out, leanfeast.com/Meridian, and continue to love what they're doing for us and Bronco Nation News, and we appreciate their support. Ridleys Family Markets, shop ridleys.com, 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Check them out. Download that app. Get up to savings up to 40% on the app at shopridleys.com. You need business insurance? Check out United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Check them out, United Commercial Insurance. And my dentist, got to give a shout out to Dr. Chris Meinert. Does a tremendous job, makes it a fun, enjoyable experience for the whole family. Full family dentistry there, BoiseDentistryCo.com, 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. Make sure you check them out, and you can give them a call, 906-1255, to find a location near you. And pretty rare to get my kids to enjoy going to the dentist, but since we made the switch to Boise Dentistry Co., it's been awesome. We recommend you do the same as well. Mike, all right, the offensive line, obviously a lot of talk about them. And, you can read between the lines. Mason Randolph, we've done our best to not, tick off Andy Avalos with what we're supposed to say and what we can say, but it's been fairly obvious that to start fall camp, he was out there, and now he is not out there, and you can put 2 and 2 together as to why not. How long he won't be out there, we don't know. Andy Avalos usually addresses, season-ending injuries and didn't say anything at the press conference about it, so that would give you hope that it's not a long-term thing. My understanding of Mike is he may address it at the new Friday availability on Friday morning, so maybe we'll get a little more clarity there. But that's caused some shuffling. Mason Randolph, was supposed to be the starting center. He is not on the depth chart, which means Garrett Curran, who was supposed to be at guard, has moved over to center. And Roger Carrion, who had one start as a true freshman against UTEP, we all know how that game went, comes in now as the starter at right guard. You've got Cage Casey, who, I mean, obviously, I don't have as many concerns about Cage Casey. I mean, the fact that he did good enough to keep Cade Beresford at right tackle tells me all I need to know, that the coaches are very high on him. But again, he's a redshirt freshman who played in 5 games last year, now starting at left tackle against the sacks leader in the Pac-12 last year on the edge for Washington. 3, 5th, 6th year guys, you feel pretty good about Dooley and Curran and Beresford, but mixed in there at Cage Casey and Roger Carrion. We're going to hear in a minute from Cade Beresford, but what's your thoughts on this O-line and how it looks, at least going into Saturday's game?
Yeah, it's almost like here we go again. And the offensive line, all of a sudden, I mean, not all of a sudden, over the last couple of years has developed this weird culture, this weird negative cloud, dark cloud that's hanging over it. KHG is supposed to show up and then disappears and mysteriously never really comes back. Dooley is supposed to be playing last year and mysteriously never shows up. And here's Mason Randolph. I believe it was August 7th. Mason Randolph was taking number 1 snaps at Boise State in practices. That's the first couple of days of camp. And then August 8th is the day that I noticed, and without connecting any dots, I noticed that all of a sudden Nathan Cardona was taking number 1 snaps at center. And later that afternoon, Mason Randolph did not show up for his scheduled media appearance. Those are the facts. Connect the dots any way you guys want. So this happened somewhere around August 7th, August 8th. Nathan Cardona didn't continue to get those number 1 snaps. As you said, it's Curran. I think Curran's a good, dependable interior offensive lineman for Boise State. I think he's going to be a really good one. But keep this in mind. He's never snapped once in college football. The context of that is, even if Mason Randolph was playing, he's never taken a snap in college football. So regardless of who Boise State lined up with, that was going to be an issue. I think this offensive line was going to be good as camp started. I think we were worried about the depth, and they lose one dude, and all of a sudden we're really, really worried about this offensive line. I think there's some good spots, some bright spots, but I think there's also some curious spots there. So Roger Carrion, last time we saw him, that didn't work out so well. The fact that Curran's never snapped at center, the fact that there's some serious depth issues behind everybody else, I do have some serious concerns about this offensive line, BJ.
And I think that's very safe. And at least on the right side, where you do have Carrion there, at least you have him, bookended by Beresford and Curran. That helps a little bit. But again, I mean, I think you have to add some context here too, Mike, where you're talking about one of the better pass rushes in the Pac-12. I mean, you got 2 guys on both edges that are projected NFL draft picks here coming forward. One of them led the Pac-12 in sacks last year. So if this were North Dakota, we may feel a little differently about Roger Carrion and Cage Casey. And I'm not even like I don't even say I know them well enough to say whether they're going to do good or not. Like so this is not a personal attack on Roger Carrion or Cage Casey. It's facts that they are redshirt freshmen going into the Lions' Den, 70,000 people at Husky Stadium, and traditionally offensive line is a position, Mike, where you want to have veterans.
Absolutely, and depth, veterans and depth, and they got a couple of veterans, but not enough. And they don't have enough depth for me. Look at the 5 backups on the Boise State depth chart. I know Ethan Card came over from Texas Tech and has some experience. But in terms of Boise State experience, all 5 backups, 0 combined starts, 5 career football games at the college level. That's 5 dudes with 5 career games at the college football level, 0 starts at Boise State. So that really concerns me. There's no way in hell that Boise State's going to, nobody does. This has nothing to do with Boise State. You're not going to get through an entire season with 5 offensive linemen. One of these guys is going to have to step up. I think offensive line has become a big, big issue. And we all know that the University of Washington has a couple of edge rushers. The good news is Beresford, Cage Casey, Riley Smith, Genty, Helani, those are your 5 pass protectors. Those are the 5 guys that are going to have to be in charge of protecting Taylor Green, because it can't be all just the offensive line.
Cade Beresford talked to the media yesterday after practice. By the way, kind of funny, you know how paranoid coaches are, Mike Prater. In the background of the Cade Beresford interview, there was some post-practice route running and things going on, and we were almost asked to take down the video, I guess, because there were some paranoid paranoid coaches that Washington may be watching our 5-minute interview with Cade Beresford to try to figure out what's going on in the background on the practice field. That's just how things are. But we were given the okay because you can't really see it as much, and maybe you'll get a funny glimpse of that while we're playing the interview. But he talked for about 6 minutes. I cut it down to 90 seconds. Here's a quick clip of Cade Beresford heading into the season opener, and he is obviously from the Seattle area. Started at Washington State, has a lot of friends and family and connections to the University of Washington. Him and Jalen Clark are the two guys expected to see time that are from the Seattle area. So here's Cade Beresford yesterday talking about the O-line and the challenge of facing Washington on Saturday. Like a couple of days away from game day.
Yeah, we're excited, just ready to roll. I think we're ready to be done with fall camp and just get the season rolling.
What's the challenge for the O-line in particular going in with that noise and everything on 70,000 on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to try to eliminate it. Obviously, we're going to be hearing a lot, but it's going to be loud. We just got to communicate, be on the same page, and adapt to it.
You've played in that stadium before. Memories?
Yeah, I think, last time I was in there, won a game in there. Doesn't matter. I mean, that was 2 years ago. So, I mean, this year it's going to be loud. I remember how loud it was. And then just having some family back home is the best part about it. So.
2 freshmen starting on the line and then 3 really experienced players. Kind of an interesting dynamic. What impresses you or has impressed you and gives you the confidence that these guys are going to be going in there and getting the job done?
Yeah, just how poised they are, how much they want it, both of them. They want to succeed. They want to, step in and play hard for these seniors too, and like all of us, and have an impact and make a change on this offensive line. So I'm excited to see what they do.
At your high school, how many? Did half the kids go to UW and half the kids go to Wazoo?
Well, if you couldn't get into UW, then you'd go to Wazoo. So that's what happened with a lot of people. It's just academic-wise, UW's very hard to get into. So yeah.
So did you grow up a fan of either of them?
I don't want to say that anymore.
There you go.
But yeah, can't say that. I'm going to say no.
There you go. We had the Ryan Grubb who was willing to admit it, but that's kind of he didn't want to say it there. So I don't know which. Obviously, I don't know which way he was leading, Mike Prater. But everybody trying to avoid the bulletin board material here the last couple of days.
Yeah, everybody does. And even though bulletin board material doesn't really exist, he's smart, and you can probably tell he grew up a big Dogs fan and has a lot of sentimental value and memories of that area. But I don't
think Boise State fans would have. I mean, you grew up there, you were a fan. I don't think Boise State fans would have all of a sudden turned on Cade Beresford if he said he used to be a Washington fan.
No, not at all. He's just being smart. He's a cagey old veteran. He's Paul Bunyan. He just goes about his business. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Boise State fans would have cared. Now, if he'd have come out and said, "I got no love for the Dogs," then maybe we would have had a little bit of conversation in Seattle. But if he'd have just said, "Yeah, they were my childhood team. Right now, I want to kick their ass."
Hey, I want to talk about some other positions that maybe scare you a little bit, Mike Prater, heading into this opener. But first, want to thank a couple more of our sponsors, our friends over at Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. They're committed over $300,000 to scholarship athletes over at Boise State, particularly the men's and women's basketball teams over the next couple of years. So check them out, TacoBellWorks.com, SON Management. They're actually hiring, so you can get some information there as well. And details coming about a live broadcast. We'll see if Mike Prater, that's the day that Mike Prater gets lucky when we do a live broadcast over at Taco Bell coming up here in the coming week. So check them out. We appreciate Taco Bell. RoePink.com. You heard Coach Leon Rice talking about them coming out and working on his garage, new concrete coating. He loves it. You'll love it as well. 5 times stronger than epoxy. The best part is they can do it in one day. Check them out, roepaint.com. They'll come out and give you a free estimate and talk you through the process. This will be cool. Next Friday, Mike, Lithia Florida Boise, the day before the UCF game. How about this? Lithia Florida Boise is giving away 4 50-yard line tickets to the UCF game. If you're interested in going to the UCF game, 50-yard line, 4 tickets. Next Friday, Jay Tust and I will be broadcasting from the showroom, actually from the inside of an F-150 Lightning, the new electric F-150. You just got to come out and say hello and be a part of the broadcast. And I think we're going to have a trivia question that day where we will give away a 4 tickets. Lithia Ford is giving away 4 tickets to the UCF game. So that'll be next Friday, the day before the UCF game. Jay and I will be out on location at Lithia Ford Boise. Come by and say hello, and you can get registered to win those tickets courtesy of Lithia Ford of Boise. I hope you saw it last night. Awesome time on the Tyson Degenhart show. We really enjoyed it. It was we thank Doc Haskell and the esports team for letting us come down and use their facility last night. Unbelievable facility there, the esports arena. And Idaho Central Credit Union is a big sponsor of theirs, big sponsor of ours, big sponsor of Tyson Degenhart. And we went in their kind of interview room, which, Mike, is a dream of mine. I walked in and I went home and was already looking up on Amazon how much some of the equipment they had cost. It's an unbelievable setup, which is the dream kind of studio for BNN at some point. But they had the couch there. We had Tim Duryea, Mike Burns telling stories on the couch, having a lot of fun with the Tyson Degenhart show. You can go on YouTube and find the full show from last night. But we appreciate ICCU for their support of sponsoring the show. And last but not least, if you're looking for a new job, check out Transportation Compliance Service, TCS. If you want to get in the trucking industry, they can help you get out on the open road in no time. All the permits, the overweight permits, DOT permits, anything you need, TCS, they can help you out and get you out there towing that first load in no time. All right, Mike, we mentioned the offensive line. We're going to talk to Eric Chenander, the defensive line as well, DeMario Warren, the corners. I know we both kind of said those are the positions we're kind of keyed in on. I know you guys have talked a lot about it on your show, the wide receivers of Washington versus the corners and secondary of Boise State. I just don't know if Boise State fans truly realize how good these receivers are, how good this quarterback is. What's your take on the matchup? Markel Reed, Jalen Clark, Kanoe Kaniho going up against 2 of the better receivers, not just in the Pac-12, but in the country.
As long as those 3 can stay healthy, I like that group an awful lot. I like them. I like their size. I like the way they play football. I like their mentality. I like the way they do everything. So it's just a matter of staying healthy and staying on the field for an entire game or an entire season. They're going to get beat up. There's no doubt about that. Penix and his 2 wide receivers, 3 if you actually want to go really deep, are going to have a scheme that's going to really just beat up Boise State. But I think Boise State can get some plays. I love their size, 6'2", 200-pound guys. I really, truly believe that this is not a mismatch against Boise State. At very best, it could be 50-50, maybe 60-40 for Washington because that passing game really is good. But it's all about putting the defensive line pressure on Penix first. I think the cornerbacks are going to be fine. It all depends on what Chenander's group can do up front.
Well, how do you think Chenander's group up front can do? What are your thoughts on that defensive line and trying to get some pressure? Because let's not forget, Mike, even with George Tarlos, even with Scott Matlock, some of these guys last year, about halfway through the season, the storyline was they're not getting much pressure on the quarterback. And now you have some inexperienced guys. You brought in some transfers. If you have a healthy Dimitri Washington, I think there's optimism there that he can try to get back to previous form. Ahmed Hassanin is doing some things. I mean, for me, the fact that Cortez Hogans is like 3rd on the depth chart, or I guess an or at 2nd, says they feel pretty good about where they're at rushing the passer. But you got Herb Gums, you got Michael Callahan. But again, Michael Callahan is a starting guy that has 18 career tackles in 4 years, and nothing against him. But it's just a new look group, and I don't really have a great feel for this group. They could come out and surprise me and do really well, or they could really struggle, and Washington could run the ball, and Penix is going to have all day to sit back there, and I'm going to say I wasn't that surprised. So that's the one group where there was a lot of question marks going in, but Andy Avalos has continued to sing their praises after the scrimmages and say they've been improving. But that's where my binoculars are going to be on Saturday in the early part of the game, Mike. I just really don't know what to think about that group.
I have a feeling that Michael Penix, they have to, it's turf up there, so there's no grass, but he's not going to have any grass stains whatsoever on his jersey. I really think, he got sacked, 6 times in 3 games last year? Only sacked 3 in the 3 games? I'd be surprised if Boise State got 1 or 2 sacks. I think the defensive line is going to be good. There's no way it's going to be great, which it needs to be on Saturday. It's just too young and too inexperienced. And you're right. I'm kind of tired of hearing Andy Avalos and the defensive coaches talking about Hassanin having a breakout season, Callahan having a breakout season. And maybe they will. I'm not disputing that at all. But it's certainly not going to happen in one day in Seattle. I really worry about the youth of those guys. Herb Gums, I think they're going to be able to stop the run, 1, because Washington's run game isn't that strong. And 2, they're going to pass the ball a heck of an awful lot. So I think they can stop the run. But Herb Gums isn't going to get after the quarterback. Hassanin, Callahan, they're going to have to come up with a crazy, crazy, crazy scheme to try to figure it out, because physically, body-wise, people-wise, I just don't think Boise State can match up with Washington's offensive line.
Vlad says, I want to feel more confident, but 4 letters are putting a wet blanket on my confidence level. UTEP. UTEP, that loss set our program back. JB says, just hope UW doesn't put a 50 spot. JB also says it's going to be a rough game. Boise says, don't think many people are thinking BSU will win. Let's just hope they can keep it close. The O-line is what it is. Rudy says it's not always about the sacks, Mike. Need to make him move to his right and from the pocket a little bit. And I guess final thing, I mean, Perry says Husky fans are acting like Boise State is an FCS team. They give us no chance. I did think it was kind of funny listening to Caleb DeBoer. I mean, he gave a lot of praise for Boise State, but then at the end he said, but they're not a team we're going to take lightly. And I don't know what, it's just kind of funny that it's like, they're you hyped them up for 5 minutes, but still at the end, you kind of throw that dig in there. We're not going to take them lightly. Well, of course not. But final thing, Mike, and we'll talk to you again tonight, but just in general, your thoughts on this game and where, whether or not you think Boise State has a realistic chance to win this thing.
Keep the explosive plays down if you're on Boise State's defense. That's the big deal. These cornerbacks, these defensive backs, they have to keep the players in front of them and avoid the explosive plays. Boise State needs to come up with a few explosive plays on its own. Outside of some Taylen Green runs last year, the explosive plays, by my definition, not Boise State's definition, really were non-existent. So the explosive plays will decide the outcome of this game. I think Washington is going to win. I smell some kind of a 36 to 28 type of football game. I like the points. I think Boise State's going to cover and keep it close. But I can't sit here and tell you that Boise State's going to win this football game. I think they're going to come out feeling fairly okay about themselves. And then obviously that big turnaround for the Big 12 opener here in the following week and the rest of that schedule. So I think they're going to come away feeling pretty good. But unfortunately, I think they open up the season with a loss.
You had a great column that I want to talk about tonight. I saved that for tonight, but you talked about Andy Avalos and kind of the why the timing is right, and this is a big season for a lot of reasons for Boise State, and so we'll talk about that tonight. Mike Prater, 7 o'clock, the BNN season preview show, exclusively for paying subscribers. If there was ever a time to jump in, it's right now. $50 for the full year, 365 days of Boise State coverage, less than $1 a week. It's like 15 cents a day or something with my math, Mike Prater, even though I'm not good at it. Check it out, BroncoNationNews.com. Use the promo code GameWeek. Jump in on the year subscription for $50, and we'll give you a private YouTube link to watch the show tonight, and all the fine faces that you see on the screen there will be a part of the show tonight. We're looking forward to that, Mike, and thanks for your time, Mike. Thanks for JP for helping get us on, and looking forward to catching up with you tonight, sir.
Appreciate it. Look forward to tonight. Great job with that show, and starting my day with BJ Rains and ending my day with BJ Rains. You must be my work wife.
Well, I'm not going there, Mike Prater, but appreciate you as always, man. We're really excited and thankful to have Mike on the team at BNN. Again, hopefully you'll join us tonight, 7 o'clock. Go subscribe. Check your email. If you are a subscriber, you'll get a private link. And if for some reason you don't get the link, send me an email or send me a DM. I will make sure you get the private link before 7 o'clock to go on. So, again, promo code is Game Week there at BroncoNationNews.com. So thanks again to Mike. Thanks again to JP. Make sure you listen to them 3 to 6 today. Idaho Sports Talk, 95.3 The Ticket, 1350 AM, their app, KTIK.com, all the ways you can listen to them. Their podcast is posted after the show, and they'll get you ready as well. 3 hours of coverage as we inch closer to Saturday's season opener. So have a great rest of your day. He's Mike Prater. My name is BJ Rains. We'll talk to you 7 o'clock tonight for the BNN season preview show. Bronco Nation News, Bronco Nation News.